Hi guys, welcome to In Room 5. My name is Kakoza Ian and
I am Noah Ajira, your co-host. He's also a host, of course.
so our podcast, it's like sort of a podcast, yes, and it will be mainly me and my friend here, Noah Ajira, will be having guests and talking about various topics, politics, science, anything, no, right?
Yeah, right. But though for today we don't have a guest. This is our inaugural. This is the premiere of the podcast. We also have the visual element, as you can see, for those seeing on the visual platforms and not listening in.
Yeah.
But for today, it's just the two of us having a discussion. We are introducing ourselves to the world
Yeah.
for the first time.
Yeah.
But, yeah. So this is an already running discussion, and this is what inspired this episode.
Indeed.
State your position.
I've had my archmates for quite a very long time. My analysis and okay, I don't know what's happening to the African continent in general, and yes, we had problems. We can give excuses and all that, but the way we are civilizing and developing is at a slow pace than expected. So that sometimes makes me think that what if it's an if phrase? What if the other people, the other side, are better than us? Because I've read their history, what they have done, what they have achieved, everything. It's really amazing in comparison to what we have been doing here. So that's where I stand.
Oh, that's where you stand.
Mm.
And I think obviously anyone in the audience can tell from how I'm anticipating that I am taking the opposite position, because I just think the current dominance culturally in general of, say, the Western world or Western culture is just incidental. We are in no way inferior to Western people as black people.
As black people,
Yeah, we are in no way inferior. That's my position.
that's your position.
Yeah.
But I'm just wondering, no, if you look back into the history of Africans, okay, let's go back, as migrating being Neanderthals, then Neanderthals, Homo erectus, Homo erectus, you know the evolution patterns that happen. Then some of our friends or brothers migrated from Central Africa to Northern Africa. They crossed the sea, and somehow, because they crossed, they became civilized. They built ships, they discovered scientific problems, they came up with issues, and us staying here kept us like that, to the extent they found us in backcloth while they were dressed in suits. That was really challenging. First look at this. Coming up with a suit, you require to study the plants, plant material, know how to remove the raw materials, refine them, let me say from cotton, all that science, start making suits, buttons from animal horns and all that. A lot of intelligence. Like I feel like these people were really a lot. Like, how do you defend
How
that?
do I defend Africa?
Yes.
Firstly, okay, I think your position itself is inherently flawed. You know, when we look at what we usually define as Western civilization, where does it really begin? Are they really, all the achievements we credit them with, is that still the same civilizational heritage? You know, when people say Western civilization, they think ancient Greece, they think Rome. Then suddenly the center shifted to Western Europe, say France, Germany, the UK. Suddenly, in the modern world, the center shifted to the United States. All these people carrying over this heritage, believing that they are the same people doing this throughout.
So they are different people.
Arguably, they are different people. The ancient Greeks lived in the Mediterranean, an entirely different civilization. So did the Romans. And during that time, there were other equally advanced civilizations and many advanced civilizations predating them. For example, the Egyptian civilization,
Mhm.
which was actually here in Africa, on the African continent,
Northern Africa.
predates both Roman and Greek civilizations, as well as the civilizations in Asia, like the Sumerian ones, Babylon, the Indus Valley civilizations, the Chinese civilizations. There have been civilizations all over. Yeah? Human beings at all points in time, typically we've been at parity technologically. And if you go as far as they are, say, around the 1600s, if you study that history of when the Portuguese showed up at the coast, the Portuguese did not suddenly show up and conquer the entire African continent. The Portuguese were actually
The coast.
at a very similar technological level to
Like-
these African kingdoms.
First wait.
Yeah.
First wait. You're talking about the Portuguese.
Yes.
These guys came and conquered East Africa, the coast of East Africa.
Mhm.
Do you know for how long they ruled that coast? For 100 years. 100 years. Like when you look at when you look into the history of East Africa, taught in O level, ordinary level of our high school in Uganda.
Yeah.
You can date, you can see when the guys started migrating, Vasco da Gama going down there, discovering, then they start conquering the coast of East Africa, then they start ruling, they divided it into the northern and southern regions. All that requires a lot of governance, intelligence, it requires a lot of technological advancement. If we really had the same civilization and technological advancement like them, I think we would give them hard time.
Now,
They found us with spears and these guys had guns.
I do have a counterpoint
They had
to you.
guns
I have
and
a
gunpowder.
counterpoint to you, right? You know that the Europeans did not invent gunpowder or guns. Guns and
Yeah.
gunpowder were invented by the Chinese in Asia. They were invented by the Chinese. So it was an invention they imported. It was the knowledge came through the Silk Road and eventually reached European civilizations. So that difference in technology, if we step back and suddenly enter like the medieval era, you'll find out that the Europeans actually
No,
also had
describe
guns.
the medieval era. Describe the
Medieval.
medieval era.
Medieval, I mean this time period after the fall of the classical civilizations like Rome. So even if you push the Byzantine civilization as an extension of Rome.
Wait a minute.
Yes.
The what?
The
Byzantine.
the Byzantine empires.
What's
And
that empire?
it was the Eastern Roman Empire that survived after the fall of the Western Roman Empire. So that's where we get this heritage of Christian orthodoxy, Eastern Christian orthodoxy. So that its capital used to be in Constantinople. It only fell to, was it Suleiman later on? I don't remember the exact year though, but it fell later on. So that period after the fall of the Roman Empire, usually when we think of the Romans, we think of the Western Roman Empire. So the original Roman Empire. The period after its fall, up to the modern-ish era of Europe, where, let's say, suddenly people start to consolidate, Renaissance happens, banking takes off, a middle class develops. That time period is the medieval period. So if you look in the medieval period, if you watch like say the Vikings TV show, and you see Northumbria, you see how those kingdoms used to be organized.
That's the period when the Crusaders were attacking,
the
converting
Crusades.
people into
The
Christianity.
Crusades. Their
and-
technological capacity was similar: spears, pikes, swords. They were at parity with us.
We did have body armor.
We had
If you look at Wankachi, are they called the Wankachi? Abambo or something. I don't know if you can Google up that.
the
And see,
Abamboa.
you see how they were dressed.
I'm not sure.
How they used to be dressed.
I'm not sure about
You-
the Abamboa.
You
but
look at the Abamboa, then you look at the Crusades, how they used to dress, and you tell me if we were into the same what? Technological era with them. Like, I think they were so, you type Abamboa.
that's you have to
Abamboa.
help me with the spelling for that.
ABAMBOWA.
Sure. Okay. let's-
Abamboa, Buganda Kingdom.
You're sure they didn't have armor?
Abambo, the men who protect the king. So, go to images, so scroll down. No, now they are showing us
Modern day Abambo.
modern day Abambo, the UPDF.
Though, I can give you a counterpoint. If you look at that's Buganda Kingdom is one example.
Okay, first go to this first picture. This is when they have tried to advance, I think. Dressed in. Are you seeing? They are trying to depict the culture where they used to dress back then. Because if you are to go into the UK, is it the English Kingdom?
Yeah.
You can see those
No.
those are the people protecting. You're comparing those.
No, this is
people who had body
this
armor.
though is not evidence for difference in technological sophistication because let me tell you, think about the technology it takes to create body armor. Body armor is made out of.
Think about the technology required to create body armor.
Yes.
Abambo, are you seeing that kanzu they are putting on it? We didn't even have it. It's after the Arabs coming and they gave us kanzu.
Now let me explain. That's one example. So it's anecdotal. There are very many empires that existed throughout Africa. For example, if you look at empires like Aksum in Ethiopia, northern Ethiopia. Look at empires like the Zulu, led by Shaka. You know the Zulu nation was expanding at a certain time, fighting conventional wars with with the Boers, wars with the British. These people actually had armor. They would get like buffalo hides.
Let's see that.
Yes.
Let's see that.
They would get buffalo
I'll have to
hides.
first see that. Because the movie I watched of Shaka Zulu,
Yes.
these guys had skin.
That's a movie
goat
depiction.
skin and cow skin.
Now, buffalo hide is very good armor.
Zulu Empire.
It's light. It's better than actually having heavy metal armor. Technologically.
No, I can't.
And right now, the technology you're claiming the Africans didn't have fundamentally.
First you ask the Zulu and their armor.
Fundamentally, the technology you're saying that Africans did not have is metallurgy. When it comes to metallurgy, Africans actually did have advanced metallurgy. We discovered it. High carbon steels. So it's not like we didn't have knowledge of metallurgy. Though we did not really have need. We did not really have need of using it for armor because we had better things that worked as armor.
We had better things that worked as armor.
Yeah.
We didn't know how to create armor. You know that net the knights put on when they are fighting with look at the Zulu. Look at that Zulu.
That is AI.
Okay, there's this Zulu here. There's the Zulu with the shield.
This one, look at that shield. It's not metal. It's made out of buffalo skin, but it can definitely stop a metal object.
I'm talking about the body armor.
Body armor is not necessarily more advanced. So
the other people had body armor.
You are the great fan of Game of Thrones, are you not?
I am.
Have you seen I like the depiction of the Dothraki. And you've seen when they met a conventional Westerosi army. Which was decked in the same way as these armies of, say, the Europeans during the medieval period. So, don't you find mobility more useful in certain ways? You saw Genghis Khan. Genghis Khan did not wear heavy body armor. Him and his horde of Mongols. Yet they made an empire larger than the Roman Empire. Yes, sometimes mobility is better for your troops. Armor is just a certain way of protecting yourself, a certain way of fighting, but it's not the only doctrine. And I don't take that as a sign of advancement. So, and the reason you can say militarily, African armies actually fought and defeated many conventional European armies before the proliferation of firearms.
You know about Maji Rebellion.
That was after the Industrial Revolution, way after. Maji is early 1900s.
So when did the Europeans or foreigners first come into Africa? When did they first come to Africa? Because I can start with the Portuguese, then the Arabs, then these missionaries came in, the explorers, the Sir Samuel Baker following the River Nile. So I don't know which part you're talking about before industrialization.
So
we defeated.
So let me
Defeated.
explain. Let me explain. You see the Maji Maji. The Maji Maji was partly a resistance against colonization. That was the early 1900s. So that's very recent history. I'm talking about, say, the 1600s. During the 1600s, we were at technological parity for the most part with Europeans. Our militaries could meet European militaries and defeat them.
Did they meet?
They did meet in the Congo. They met in South Africa. They met in Egypt. They met all over the place.
Pardon?
Yes.
Before
Before
colonialism started
yes.
taking over our land,
Yes.
there were already wars between foreigners and Africa.
Yes.
In Congo. Which one is that?
Now, in particular in Congo, there was a kingdom called Congo with a K though. I can look it up. There's a kingdom called Congo. So it's better you look it up since I'll be talking as you look it up.
Okay.
Kongo. So
Okay.
so this kingdom, this was one of the first places. Yeah, this was one of the first places that the Portuguese showed up.
Congo Kingdom.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And the Portuguese took over. They fought wars. They supported. You can go to the Wikipedia article maybe.
Okay.
That could be a good source. So
Kingdom of Congo.
yeah, the Wikipedia is up there. Yeah. So there were times when Europeans showed up to this kingdom. They actually came with missionaries, converted many people to Christianity. Congo is one of the oldest Christian countries in the world. You can look at those dates. And there were a number of wars fought with the Portuguese. Portuguese, and sometimes the Dutch themselves would show up. It was a whole mix. It's a complicated era of history.
This is around 1862.
Yes, and they did not manage to supersede the sovereignty of this kingdom. This kingdom continued existing. Same thing with the East African coast. They did control a few city-states, but they couldn't project their power and say control the interior and take over an interior kingdom like Uganda or something back in the 1600s or 1700s. So the difference in here comes when you check the Industrial Revolution was the deciding factor. So the reason why Europeans or the Western people are deemed more civilized than us is because they happened onto industrialization before us.
And this industrialization was catalyzed by themselves.
Yeah.
We would have also had our own industrial revolution.
Yeah.
But since they were smart enough, they had these smart people. They had some serious people, like people who are highly curious. Yeah, of course, they are the common names. There's Isaac Newton, there is Albert Einstein, there is Archimedes. Do you know how old Archimedes is? Archimedes' principle, talking about the submersion of objects into water, and also the law of flotation. If you look the age or the year in which Archimedes was born, and what he thought about, which you couldn't even contemplate,
that's a very good.
It's crazy. These are the people
That's
who
actually
started
a good
that.
illustration of my point, by the way.
I think, did we have an Archimedes?
I can
in
explain
Uganda?
how. I can explain how.
We had Mukajanga fighting and
So,
I'm
so
trying
let
to
me explain
kill-
how Archimedes is a good illustration of my
Let me
point.
first show you the Archimedes. Explain us.
Yeah. You remember how I pointed out that Archimedes, Archimedes, the Greeks in general, as you're saying, the Greeks were a very good. They are not necessarily the same continuation of the same Western civilization. Though that's the heritage that many Western people. Massive, very hard to cross, dry desert, the Sahara. It slows down the rate at which information flows. So scripts do not flow from here to there. The
Sahara desert.
The European civilizations write in a script that descended from a Greek script, which came from a certain script used by the Phoenicians and ancient.
So there are sharing of information.
There's always sharing of
between
information.
different civilizations.
Yes, with
but no, when okay, let's talk about the astrophysicists. Let's talk about Albert Einstein. the E equals mc squared guy. Principle of relativity. Bending of the fabric of space-time. He just sat down. Because I just watched a documentary. It's one season documentary, 1 or 2 seasons. It's about Albert Einstein. It talks about his biography. He used to even dodge class. This information you're talking about, he used to run away from it. Yeah, completing school was even hard. It's called Einstein, the TV show. It shows that he used to sit in class. No, he used to sit in class and just think. He just think. There's when the professor asked him, what are you thinking about? He imagined a ball thrown in space. Then he imagined everything removed away from space. So imagine this microphone is here. Then remove everything. Remove the room, remove the table, remove all this setup here. So imagine this microphone was moving, was racing. So if you remove everything, will you see it racing? So that's when he came up with the principle of relativity, that things move in relation to what? To others. Relative velocity and all that stuff.
So now,
the case, if he sat down and thought.
Yeah.
First
I have something to say about
he
that
did.
as well.
He did say that I have a Sahara desert on my head, not allowing me to think, not allowing me to
Sahara
think.
desert
We are
is
here
no
saying
excuse.
we couldn't think because there's a Sahara desert.
Let me show you
We
how
have River Nile.
believe.
These people came and even discovered the source of the
I
Nile.
do have a counterpoint to that. Albert Einstein had a whole intellectual heritage to stand on. His theories, when you think about relativity, stuff like velocity, basic kinematics, basic laws of motion, all that was codified by Newton already a couple of centuries before. So it was the state of the art of physics. He had that entire heritage to work on, and he was thinking beyond that heritage. So when he was thinking of relativity and trying to say, oh, if there is no actual frame of reference that's permanent in the universe that I can use for measuring the properties of the universe, properties of, say, an object in the universe, then from that he logically derives that, oh, if everything is relative and the only thing that we can take as a constant is the speed of light, therefore things such as time dilation, things such as space-time getting bent, etc. His whole theory is based on a certain large framework. Even the maths uses to describe this, there are basics like, say, solving, say, a quadratic equation. This was a problem that plagued Europeans for centuries. It was one of the great. You can solve a quadratic equation in your sleep right now.
Yeah.
Because you did mathematics.
And I passed.
And you passed yes. But this is a problem that plagued professors for centuries until someone came up with a general solution for quadratic equations. It is here. All this is a huge mathematical framework that he is standing on.
Okay.
A huge logical framework. A university that he goes to reads works of other thinkers to build on. This whole framework did not exist here, for the most part.
Okay.
But that says nothing about the capabilities of humans themselves.
No, you're talking about it, and he had all these resources and all that stuff.
Yes.
Okay, let's look at Michael Faraday. Michael Faraday, the father of electricity, magnetism, magnetic fields. He was this. What's that term of you can't read?
Dyslexic.
This what?
Dyslexic.
Dyslexic. Yeah. So he couldn't read. He couldn't understand the alphabet. The teacher used to always beat him and all that stuff until the brother reported to the mom and he had to drop out. He had nothing, like he didn't know how to read or anything, but he contributed a lot to the technological advancement of the world. He looked at things and thought. He came up with the motor, magnetism, the Faraday's hand rule, remember all level physics. Where he stopped and he couldn't go further, it's him failing at mathematics. He couldn't solve equations, and he took them to some rich mathematician, he was a son born in money. A mathematician born in money is the one who helped him. But at least he thought. No, at least without.
At least he thought.
At least.
So,
but even up to now,
so
even
I have a question
after reading all these books as us,
yes.
okay, we know all this. You are saying
Yeah.
there was the Sahara Desert, there was an Indian Ocean, there was mosquitoes, malaria.
I did say that.
What's the excuse right now? What's the excuse?
No,
We have the
right
medicine
now-
for malaria.
So right now,
we have aeroplanes.
right
if
now,
you want.
of course,
we
there
have
are
internet.
expectations as well.
Uh-huh.
So think about the current political state of the sub-Saharan region or the where the black Africans live currently. Yeah?
Mm.
So are these organized societies, are the majority of them failed states? Are there universities, places of higher learning that are stable for people to come up with these innovations? Or when you're coming up with an innovation on par with the state of the art, what other people worldwide are doing, you do it when you have at least a similar standing to work with. So many nation states in sub-Saharan Africa are currently very, very young. We've not yet developed the kind of national identities, the kind of systems that facilitate thinkers to come up with different innovations on the level that these people do. So that's why we are falling behind, and we're not the only continent that is not able to do this consistently.
Let me ask Noe.
Yes.
Let's compare Makerere University standards right now
Yes.
and the Harvard of 200 years ago. How old is Harvard? Harvard University is around how old?
Harvard, not sure, but it's
Harvard,
pretty old.
it's very old,
Yeah.
200 years plus.
Yes.
I'm sure. If you compare to the standards of that university back then and now, which one is better? Which one has more materials, more space for innovation and more, opportunities? If you compare the amount of data and information in comparison to the Harvard
Yes.
of it is 387 years old.
Yes.
Thrice Makerere.
So
Do you know Bohr split an atom? Splitting an atom. Which year was it? It was in Cambridge University, either
I think
Cambridge
it was
Oxford.
Rutherford that split.
Rutherford, sorry,
Yeah.
Rutherford.
Yeah.
He split an atom. Back then,
Yeah.
they have atomic.
And at the time,
they have
Rutherford.
particle colliders.
So I have a question.
What is here? What is okay? What?
Yeah, I have to say something here.
What's happening?
You do not have. You're saying yes. We are not the same level as the University of back then. So the state of art of physics.
No,
research,
wait. Are we more advanced than them, or
probably
compared to the
we
Harvard?
might have
200
slightly
years
better
back.
resources, yes, but the resources back then were aimed at researching a simpler problem, splitting an atom. We could set up an atom splitting experiment in say Makerere, but it would not give us any useful result. It would not test a useful theory. Atom splitting by Rutherford, they were trying to figure out what is matter made of, nucleus, electrons, etc. Then they were trying to see, can we transmute matter from one form to another? Can we turn carbon into nitrogen? Can we turn hydrogen into something else, etc. They were answering certain very basic questions that have been answered now. So the research would not be useful. Maybe it would be useful as a teaching aid if we can set it up now. Right now, at the very frontiers of physics, the equipment we need to test some of the current theories, you should see the cost of, say, the Large Hadron Collider. This takes billions of dollars, tens of billions of dollars to build. Running one experiment costs billions of dollars. We do not have the resources to do cutting edge
resources.
experimental physics research. In terms of, there are certain kinds of research we should be at least punching above our weight in, say like mathematics, say like theoretical physics, where you don't really need that much experimentation. But in the case of those, at times it's a heritage-based thing. You find someone's student, Einstein students were this and this, Rutherford students were this and this, Thomson students were this and this. They all won Nobel Prizes. You find a department of physics somewhere, like in Cambridge, has a heritage. they attract the best minds. They have a certain reputation, and we need to
As we
build,
do here, we also
we need to
attract
build
the best
that from
ones. Did
scratch.
you see the weights of government sponsorship?
Yeah, we attract the best minds, but do we have people to mentor them? Do we have a world famous physicist in our
And who do
physics
you want to
department?
mentor? This guy is even built for a university. Do you know that? Do you know Sir Albert Cook? We even have Sir Albert Cook Library.
Yes.
There are even
Yes.
the ashes of Sir Albert Cook. After dying, he died in Kampala.
The medical school.
Yeah, the
and
medical
the
school.
hospital.
Yes. Eh? We appreciate him so much. His ashes are in the medical school.
Yeah.
You read while looking at him and appreciate him.
Yeah.
Wow.
So that's what we need.
Eh?
That's what
So,
we need.
when
some
he died,
mentors.
so who do you want to mentor you? Like you yourself should be the mentors. So people who come here and study and get masters,
But
PhDs,
you
and
do
all
know
that,
that
we can't mentor ourselves.
we
What
do
do you
have
mean
a
we
very-
don't have
no,
mentors?
We are building that capacity right now.
Mm.
So when you say we are not having, like, say, a Nobel Prize here in Makerere,
Yeah.
that's because that very high level of research isn't being done yet. But we have great intellectual minds in our faculties. But the problem is, usually we also experience a problem of brain drain. Our best minds also go to foreign universities,
Whose fault?
study under those other people, get the proper mentorship. So all it takes is us getting back a few of our bright products. They settle shop here, and that all starts with having a well-balanced society. You can't attract a best mind when you have no amenities. You don't have a nice road network. You don't have social security. Rises to that level, then we start attracting back some of our top minds. You will see the Nobel Prizes.
Oh,
Russia,
shall see the
Africa,
Nobel
so
Prizes.
yes. It's a systematic issue, but on the individual perspective, as humans, there is nothing inherently that would make us
No,
Africans.
you're talking
inferior.
about we need to bring back our best minds. We need to give them resources. We
Yes.
need to mind them.
It's a
That
process.
means there are these organizations
Yes.
unnamed, which have to mind these people, mentor them. These organizations within our African countries, they are led by who? Because you guys in 1962, you put down the Union Jack and raised the what? The Ugandan flag.
No, let me-
Independence.
let me give you
So
an
that means
example.
the legislature,
Look at that
judiciary.
university.
Hmm?
That university is about how many times? 6 times the age of your country. So your nation is very young and developing.
No, we don't need that to wait. These guys were starting from scratch.
Yeah.
We already know what's going on
Yeah.
here. Okay, you're talking about
Agreed.
you're talking about resources.
Yeah.
Do you know the person who discovered the radius of the earth and the equipment he used?
Yeah.
So I don't remember the name.
Yes.
It's so impressive.
Yes. It's impressive.
Who
You have
measured
to
the
look it
radius
up.
of the earth? You will see how the tools he used.
Uh-huh.
Were they 2 sticks
Yes.
and the sun?
Uh-huh.
First person to measure radius of
I
the
think
earth.
circumference was right.
Circumference or
Yeah,
radius?
if you know the circumference, you know the radius. It's Eratosthenes.
Eratosthenes. Open the Wikipedia and see that diagram. I will what? I will do what? No, open the Wikipedia.
Yeah. Let's link him.
I will summarize what he did. Greek mathematician and geographer. Look at him. Look at him. Look at the camels walking. You going to? They don't have his Wikipedia.
There will be one here below.
It's there. So go down. I think there's that famous structure when he's measuring the whatever of the earth. Known
Yes.
for.
Yeah.
So
I think I can
Eratosthenes.
scroll from here on. Yes.
First, go back. No, go back to the previous.
Yes.
Go back where we started with radius of the earth. Go back.
Circumference.
So tap there because I want that image. Let me see that article. So Eratosthenes, this man you're seeing, he sent someone to
I
run.
think you should get it in the frame though.
Okay.
Yeah.
he had someone to run.
Yeah.
The guy ran from here to here. They
Distance
measured
of 5,000
distance.
stadia.
Yes. When he reached there, he assumed the world is what? The earth is circular. Then he got two sticks. He got two sticks. I don't know how. Mbu. Sun rays cast shadow off pole at noon. Then sun rays shine straight down well at noon. So he put here a stick. He measured shadows. How shadows are making angles. He made an angle. The calculations, you can see that.
What
He
he's
ended
doing
up the
here
circumference.
is trigonometry.
Trigonometry, yes, but look at the tools he's using.
Yes.
A man walking or camels,
Yes.
measuring the distance.
Yes.
Then a sun and the sticks.
Yes.
And the sticks,
Yeah, they're
you're
good
here
tools.
saying.
And he's also
Yeah.
using script to write.
Oh, I had forgotten.
He's using numerals,
I've forgotten.
He's
I've
using-
forgotten.
trigonometry.
He's also using the brain.
Yeah, he's using his brain.
Uh-huh.
But he's applying heritage knowledge that he did not necessarily discover on his own. He's building on something other people built. Someone thought up trigonometry and he built up on it. Someone proposed that the world is round and he thought, let me measure its circumference. He had scripts to write down and do his working. etc. He had a standardized unit of distance, a stadia, to measure and do his mathing. There's a lot of heritage, and not all that was necessarily invented in his city or in his local. Some of it was from Egypt, some of it was from elsewhere. So
Even the
there's always a heritage.
numerals
So
themselves.
what I would like to cut down to straight is the very heart of the problem, because what really determines our phenotype, current scientific consensus is
Phenotype.
Our-
no, describe.
our phenotype,
Because I know it
our
biologically.
physical characteristics,
Mm.
our outward appearance, that we are black Africans, presumably our physiology, our brain sizes,
Anatomy.
everything about us. It's all codified into DNA. So our DNA is not that different. It's the same DNA as human DNA. We are humans, so
We're saying as human, we are humans.
exactly.
Mm.
And we are not inferior anyway. So people like to say maybe that variation of humans is on average smarter than we are. But I actually think, in my opinion, the smartest humans should be here. Because, all human beings migrated from sub-Saharan Africa initially. So this is the region that has had the most, it has had the most number of humans for a very long period of time. Other people went out, but they've had a shorter period of time to spread out, get some genetic diversity. They're descended from very small migrant populations that expanded out. We are the original population. So we have a lot of diversity within us. If you move from, say, here to, just move to Congo and you meet someone, you move from here to Sudan, move from here to, our phenotype is so different. You might find that genetically, I might be closer to a white person than I am to someone who lives
To a
very
pygmy.
close. Yeah, to a pygmy or to someone who lives somewhere in Tanzania or somewhere in Sudan. We have a very high level of genetic diversity compared to the rest of the globe. So I believe there are very many variations on human and different characteristics.
So you think these
Here in Sub-Saharan Africa.
variations only come with phenotypic
different
features like color, height,
even
what?
intelligence.
What about intelligence?
Intelligence
That's
too
where my point
has
is.
a genetic component, I believe. Average intelligence, of course, every population has smart people. So when someone says your population has a lower average intelligence, that doesn't mean you specifically have.
But
low
what if
intelligence.
no?
Yes.
When whatever happened for those people to migrate in Central Africa?
Yes.
Are you seeing how their cut-off point
Yes.
when someone is joining a certain school? They are like, we want only 4 aggregates.
Yeah. They say let's take the smartest.
Then the
guys.
then the population ends up only having smart people and gentlemen and all that
So-
with their culture. So what if I'm not saying the Homo erectus? Okay, what was it then?
The guys who migrated
Was-
out were Homo sapiens.
Homo-
They were already humans.
They were already Homo sapiens.
Yes.
So I'm not saying one Homo sapien was like For you, things I say you can't contemplate. Eh? Stay. For us, we go. Eh? But I think whatever happened there,
Yeah.
whether disasters, wars, conflicts, tribal, whatever, fighting for spear and the bead, all that ended up like selecting out. Some people were like, no.
So I have a counterpoint.
We can't
that
chill
I'll
around
give
with.
to.
It's like you dropping you into a certain society. Let me say, I won't mention a society. Imagine you run to society. People are running. Someone is jumping. One is dancing without music. One is dancing without music.
Yes.
You're like three people. Let me say the three wise men. You look at them. Someone is still. Someone wants to eat cassava. Instead of eating cassava, first throws the cassava, runs after the cassava, gets the cassava.
We are the them. Yes.
So I'm wondering, maybe these people are like,
yeah, but we are
no
them
way,
in this situation.
no way,
yes.
and they left, and a bunch of, let me say, smart people went and settled in Europe before continents divided completely.
No. It was after the current continents. The continents.
How did they cross?
They crossed through Asia. There is a direct land bridge between Africa and Asia. At Sinai.
Sure.
Yeah, Sinai, that area.
So now I can just
Currently
wake up and I
Egypt.
walk. I'm like, I'm tired.
There's a
I'm
Suez
tired of
Canal.
this country. I want a new life. I have no passport. I just walk. I go to Asia.
Of course, there are borders. It's a modern world. You can't get there right now. There is even wars there. But anyway, let's get to. Let me tell you where I was heading to with the genetic diversity argument. It's simple. Statistically, since we are the most diverse continent, probably the population of humans, distinct population, say with common characteristics, with the highest intelligence, there is very high chance that that population is here, not there, because there are very many variations here. So,
It's here, not there. Not
chances are very high that a certain population here, if we give them those aptitude tests like or IQ tests, whatever people claim measures the entirety of human intelligence. Of course, we can't quantify intelligence yet perfectly. How do you quantify something that complex?
Yeah.
So, probability is really high that that population is here in sub-Saharan Africa. Just like the population that is best at long distance running is here. The population that can jump highest vertically is here. The population that is tallest in physical height is here. The population with the darkest skin is here. Yeah? We have all shades of skin.
So,
we have populations with
people
blue
are
eyes.
good at jumping.
We have populations
You saw
with
that?
blue eyes.
Do you know that?
Let me show you our genetic
Do you know
diversity.
that tribe?
Yes.
Mbu, over you jump cattle when you're going to marry. You come and you jump cattle. You guys, instead of discovering theory, you started jumping cattle. And you're so proud of jumping cattle now.
No, I believe we are better at everything. Even
Jumping cattle.
we probably have populations here that are smarter than every other population. Yeah? This is the level of diversity we have. We have blue-eyed populations. People think blue eyes only occur in
The white
Europeans. We have blue-eyed populations. We have so much genetic diversity. We have light-skinned people. We have charcoal, black-skinned people. We have also
so we are more diverse.
Yes.
So there's a possibility.
The fastest person on earth in a straight line is an African. The highest jumper is an African. We have people that can survive at very high altitudes with little oxygen. You know how the Sherpas in Nepal can. We got people from in the Ethiopian highlands who live at those high altitudes. Maybe they would give the Sherpas a run for their money and climbing the mountain faster. We have populations that can dive.
What you're talking about is just
diversity.
Acclimatizing.
So
you go to
this
the mountain, red blood cells
So
start.
this is what I'm no. There's more mechanics behind that. Leave alone acclimatizing.
That's the temporary thing. But if you're born there,
Yes.
you have to adapt to the environment.
Now, leave alone but
I don't know. That doesn't.
I understand what you're talking about. When you move to a higher altitude, of course your body produces more red blood cells because you need more oxygen. Yes, every human adapts to high altitude, but there are altitudes that you can't live at right now, you specifically. If you went there,
Yeah, I'm sure.
yeah, if you went there, the natives, people whose genetics already have streamlined them for surviving on low oxygen, for there's a way they've been streamlined. These people can climb these mountains faster. Look at the Mount Everest climbing records. I wish I could. I can bring that up. Even if you're born there and you grow up there, actually, if you move somewhere like to the Himalayas right now, you would end up getting blood clots because your body would be overcompensating and would produce way too many red
Okay,
blood
okay,
cells.
no. So.
There's a genetic component to your adaptation to high altitudes. And there are high altitude people here. That's why we have very many good long distance runners.
So, no.
So,
okay, all said.
Yes.
All said about
Yes.
Africa.
Yes. Intelligence too.
Intelligence.
We have very intelligent Africans as well. We have the best of everything because
Okay.
statistically.
Okay, we have, but
yeah.
we don't know because he could be hunting somewhere.
Yeah.
But using some serious IQ to hunt. Guys, the best hunter.
Yes.
Guys,
we
the
are
best-
the best.
Guys, the
hunters.
best hunter. This guy can fetch water
Yeah.
with his IQ. But okay, what's the way forward? What should we do?
Nation states need to provide a stable environment for smart people to innovate. Then once we start showing up in all these forums, when we win a Fields Medal here, we invent something, we have a few Nobel Prizes coming here, that kind of inferiority complex that we have and the superiority people feel over us and racism,
We should be less
all
corrupt.
that will
We
disappear.
should be less corrupt.
Corruption is everywhere. That's to do with the structure of the nation states. And nation states are systems, they are not made of individual people. People on a large scale level, societies, take a while to adjust. There's a lot of inertia. We are going through certain phases. Humans are not robots, and we can't just program them to do the right thing immediately. It may take a generation, a couple of more generations. If you look at European history, they've had periods of turmoil. They've had wars that wiped out entire civilizations. They've had a long, long time.
Hitler,
Yes. For example, there are nation
the
states.
French
There are
Revolution.
nation states that are thousands of years old. The current kingdom of England, arguably, is more than 1,000 years old. Say Japan, the Empire of Japan, if you're taking it as a monarchy, has an unbroken line of monarchs for about 2,000 years. Uganda is this random construct that colonialists drew on a map. It's only existed for about 60 years. It's young, it's fledgling, it's developing fast, but maybe we are underperforming compared to a few contemporaries like Kenya, Ghana, a few contemporaries, yes. But I believe
So because we are young,
within a couple of generations,
because we are young,
yeah,
we
will
make
build those
we make
systems.
wrong decisions,
Yeah.
mistakes,
Yeah.
like fighting locusts with stones of 2
Nah.
billion. So
Okay,
you
I have
give
no counterpoint to that.
you
I
give
have no
you
counterpoint to
give that as an excuse. We are young,
that.
so
No,
people
that's brazen corruption.
people throw stones at locusts.
That's
2
brazen.
billion, was it 2 billion? Some stones were expensive to
Okay. We do have fundamental problems, but I think we should pull together and work at them instead of being fatalistic and then we suddenly decide that, oh, we are inferior, we'll never do what they do. And then we give up and focus on kleptocracy, stealing everything, being corrupt, working for your own kids. Then we migrate to their countries and they hate us from there and they be racist towards us. Then we should build our own place, work on building our reputation. It may take a couple of generations, but we will make it. So, yeah.
Alright.
I guess it's a nice place to stop. I hope we've stimulated thoughts with the audience.
I think we'll give ourselves a chance to
Yeah.
expand, develop, and advance.
Mm.
Hopefully,
Yeah.
there will be a change in my mind. Maybe I have another perception
Yeah.
about us.
Yeah.
But right now, I don't.
Me, I'm optimistic. I'm always the optimist.
Mm.
So, I think we can sign out now.
Alright.
Yes. Thank you for listening in. Come back next time. We have more interesting topics. You can even reach out to us on our socials if you want to be a guest. Yeah, we also host guests, talk about different topics. Thank you for coming in.
Yeah, sign out.
We sign out.